Today is March 15th, 2022, and it's nice to see so many of you on the call. We can do a quick check-in with everyone. If you want to introduce yourself, I can call on you and just tell us a little bit about what's going on in your neck of the woods, and then we'll go over some of the updates for the conference, as well as talk a little bit about the reinvestment statistics. Hopefully all of you have gotten them in. If you have not and you have questions, we can talk a little bit about that. I know it's sometimes challenging to get that information, but we really do need it to keep tabs on all the work that we're doing. So why don't we start with John? Hello, you were the first on the call.
Hi, John Truitt from Viva Downtown Reading. We are planning spring events now that a lot of restrictions have been lifted, not only in our county, but across California. And we are also, as a result of our streets being pushed back through and a removal of our downtown mall, we had to adjust what our assessment district was. So we're moving towards a new property owners assessment district here in Reading. It should encompass about 12 blocks. We do have more than 51% of the square footage of the property committed to it right now, but we want to make sure that a majority of the property owners themselves want to buy into the project as well, just to make it easier to work with. Then once we get to city council, it turns out that 2 of the council people own property that's within the downtown specific plan. So we'll only have 3 members voting on that. And we definitely want to make sure that we get all 3, that we don't have 2 council people voting for a district. So we're just doing whatever it is that we can to make sure that even though people want this to happen, it doesn't look like a minority of people actually wanted it to happen.
Yeah. I certainly remember that when we were going out for our property business improvement district for Richmond. And yeah, it's really important to engage with the property owners and other stakeholders, and certainly your city council. You want to make certain that everybody is on board, and it looks like a real community effort and everybody is behind it. And hopefully you don't have any opposition or folks to, want to buck up against what you're trying to do. So yeah, as much support as you can get ahead of time is really, really important to do that. Glad to hear that you guys are moving forward with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Ruby Lopez from Livermore, welcome, hello. And Ruby is new to California Main Street. And if you want to introduce yourself and say a little bit about what's going on in Livermore.
Everybody, Ruby Lopez, Villarreal. Sorry, I forgot to put the rest of the last name on there. It's a long one. Yes, as you all know and love Rochelle Sonetacor, and so I worked with Rochelle over 15 years ago, left, and now I'm back. So happy to walk down this path that she's paved so beautifully for me. But yeah, we have a few things going on. We're getting ready for our Street Fest. We just had last weekend our half marathon downtown, and now we're moving on to Street Fest. We had a meeting today as we're looking at a potential parking app for downtown. I don't know how far along Rochelle has informed you there, but we are working on a potential parking app that's going to just be able to track, the availability in the different lots. And we're trying to set up as we're getting new lots being built that are projected for 2024. So we're just kind of like trying to be proactive there and finding ways that we can ensure that the businesses are represented well on those apps, and have been working to boost our partnership, which we've been doing really well. And we've got like 20 new members just in this month alone. We're halfway through, which we're excited about. I'm really looking forward to the CAMS conference, and I'm excited to listen to and learn from all of you wonderful people. So I'm just happy to be here listening for now.
Yeah, well, thanks so much. We're happy to see you, and we look forward to engaging more with you in Livermore and finding out what's going on there and supporting all of your work. So let's keep going around, and so we can get to some more folks. Oceanside. I see you there, Gamaro. If you want to give a little update, what's going on?
Morning, everybody. I hope you guys can hear me well. My internet seems to be breaking down a little bit, but we're good. We're here busy in downtown Oceanside. We're planning our Mother's Day to Sweet event, which is a dessert tasting event here where we have about 25, 30 businesses doing dessert tasting, a little bit of savory, but it's more predominantly dessert based. And then we're actually introducing a new VIP event that day with a new business that just came on board. It's a restaurant / tap room. It's called Beer Town. And so we're working with them now to get them a little more promoted. And then our Independence Parade is coming up too. That's in June 25th. It's a little early this year, but this is the request of our Oceanside Police Department and also the city of Oceanside. So, but things are looking pretty good. We're looking forward to the conference next week and also the national conference in a couple months. So yeah, it's going to be pretty busy the next few weeks, the next few months for us.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Christine.
Hi, everyone. I also have, she might not be able to take her camera off, I'm not sure, but Tish is on with us as well. So this is the first time our program manager, Tish Geringer, has been on with us. And Tish handles our events, our membership, and our volunteer ambassador program. So excited to have her on, and she'll be kind of sharing this role with me. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I didn't know if you were able to take your camera off or not. We have very, very busy as well. We just did our blood drive. We did a Valentine's pop-up. We did a treasure hunt with, in collaboration with one of our downtown businesses called Barrio Glassworks, where they create custom hearts in glass, and we hide them all around the village, and we have hundreds and hundreds of people running around. It's kind of crazy. So that was a lot of fun. So February was very busy. We've already had our first makers market with 50 vendors, which is juried crafters, high-end crafters. We have another one April 2nd, and then one in June. We've got some mixers coming up. We just have a lot going on. And one of the things that was really neat is we just had our first in-person Village Voices business networking meeting. First time that we went back indoors, face to face. We've been doing it in a courtyard, a fountain courtyard for a while. And we had about 60 businesses show up. So that was great. We had not been in the theater since 2 years, same week, 2 years prior, right before the pandemic. So it was kind of bittersweet. It was really neat to see everybody again, but to think that it was 2 full years, you know, was a lot. So
it's a lot. Great.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
tons going on, and that's about it. John, I'd love to talk with you offline later. We just submitted our letter to the city council that we're starting the discovery process on a PBID. And I tell you, as soon as we did that and went online with that verbally across the airwaves, I started sweating and had to leave the room. So would love to chat with you. So
Great.
all right.
I see Carolyn here. Hi, Carolyn. East Oakland.
Always in the house. Hi, everybody.
Good. Good to see you. What's going on in your neck of the woods?
To find my lots of things. So we were able to Liberation Park. We were able to take Liberation Park on the road. So we're a physical site, and there was the Black Joy Parade in Oakland, had 20,000 folks. It was a lot of folks. There was amazing. So we had, we took Liberation Park, which includes our outdoor roller skating rink, our Acoma Market, certified farmers market, our outdoor play day, and on different days at the market. And
oh no, she cut off.
a package to the festival. And so in skating rink, we had a play area, and we had our market vendors that were there as well. It was really great exposure. Just for what we're doing in that corner of town. And it's really led to every festival that's happening in Oakland. It's like, we want Liberation Park on the road here. So it's been great. And it's also, we were able to see an uptick in people coming out to the park who didn't know about Liberation Park in that area because they saw it. So it was a really effective strategy, and it's been great. We are planning our Juneteenth festival. It's going to be the first ever 4-day full weekend event in Oakland. And we have a couple of themes that we're going to highlight. We are creative, we are makers, we are healers, we are love. And all of those themes will be embedded by activating different sites in East Oakland over those 4 days. Our MLK Shoreline, one of our local parks, our Liberation Park. And also we want to activate the streets, the retail streets. We talking to the city council people about cleaning up the streets, and hopefully what we call it the Oakland that we want to see and the Oakland that we want to be. And so we want a city that has clean streets, whose unhoused populations are not housed as if we're living in a seventh world country, and their safety. So we're looking to organize prior to Juneteenth, 2 or 3 weeks of full cleanup along all of the commercial spaces, adding sort of elements that represent Juneteenth and what it means to our community. Representations in the windows. We're working with a couple of different mural projects. So a lot of the abandoned lots or buildings that are just kind of unsightly, murals that are really high quality murals are going to be auctioned, and to folks not to own them, but to place on these window storefronts, et cetera.
Oh,
so really
wow.
beautiful art. And 2 final pieces, this is because I don't sleep, is being able to add augmented reality to those murals. And so you can come and see what happened here at this site, or who used to own this site, what used to go on in Oakland at that site, at the same time juxtaposed with what could happen at this site. So we're working with an augmented reality person that folks can go and use their little phone and hear that story of what happened here. And the last piece is that we're hoping that the Oakland A's, because they do have a game on June 19th, we'll be able to end our weekend with a fireworks show.
Whoa.
So that's what we're doing.
So fantastic.
Yes.
I think we all need like a presentation or about this whole Juneteenth and some of the work that you do. I think it'd be really good for our network to share how you put it together, who your partners are, because this is something that could be replicated in other communities, and a lot of folks are looking for events and projects to do around like Juneteenth and other Black history types of things. So would love to work with you to get that out to the network.
I can definitely share that with you. You're welcome. Thank you for listening.
Fantastic. Blake.
Hi, everyone. My name is Blake Fisher. I'm the program coordinator for Viva Downtown Reading. I'm excited to be here at our meetup. John mentioned a few of the things that we're doing, and then I'll just leave with our first annual event of the year called Hops and Shops. It's happening Saturday, April 2nd, and that's where we partner with North State breweries and downtown businesses for a walking, shopping, and craft beer tasting event. That's what we're working on. Cool. Thank you for Carolyn. Cool stuff happening over in Oakland. That's so cool.
Yeah. Exciting.
You're welcome. I can bring Liberation Park anywhere, even to Reading. Just call us up. We'll be there.
Thank you.
Hi, Kara.
Hi, I'm Kara Clutchman from downtown Martinez. And right now we are working on, we have our annual beer festival returning down to the marina, our biggest fundraiser of the year. We have about 40 breweries, 10 food vendors, and other art and craft vendors. That's April 9th. So we're a couple weeks out. So busy planning with that. And then, we have our open air market returning in May, and we're starting to plan for our annual 4th of July parade to return as well. And going to start a new event, Taste of Downtown, with local breweries and wineries paired up with some of our restaurant creations. And then internally, we're also working on trying to get a mural project on a couple of the downtown properties created under our program. So it's taking quite a bit of work, but we're hoping that we could see it successfully through. And I think that's it for now.
That's great. Thank you. And let's see, Donovan, Fremont. What's going on over there?
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, thank you, everyone. My name is Donovan Lazzaro, and I serve as Economic Development Manager at the City of Fremont. And I'm actually new to this group, so it's nice to see you all virtually here. Downtown, so Fremont actually has a downtown for people who are or live or from the Bay Area, that might be a little surprising. We're actually, in the process of building a downtown from scratch. And so that's not something that you get to do very often in a place like the coastal Bay Area, Silicon Valley. But that is what is happening. So the city has put in tens of millions of dollars over the last 5 years or so into building out a pedestrian street grid. We had to buy some properties to be able to punch out our Capitol Avenue, which is really intended to serve as our main street, where it's the retail spine of our downtown. And we also just this past October had a ribbon cutting ceremony for our new downtown event center, which can host events ranging from smaller groups of 20, 30 people all the way up to 1,200 people. And we're really excited about that. There are a number of new mixed use and commercial projects that are underway. The first one that has been completed, it has 21,000 feet of linear ground floor retail, and we are starting to get our first tenant. So we've had 6 leases now signed for space there. Most of them are under construction, but one is already up and running. And yeah, we're really excited about all the momentum. So hopefully, over the next few years, there'll start to be something there where people can actually kind of recognize it. Because when you say downtown Fremont to a Fremont native, you get kind of stickers or eye rolls, because for good reason. But stuff's happening.
That's great. Well, we want to be involved in however we can support the effort and learn more about what's happening in Fremont. Let's see. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I'm glad you could be here today. And we have another person joining us from Pleasanton, Jordan. I think you're new to the group as well. Are you there?
He put a note in the comments that he can just listen and doesn't have a camera today.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, welcome, Jordan, to the group. And, if there's some information you want to share, certainly put any links in the chat or let us know what's going on there. So then I think I got an update from, Shoshana and also Amanda. So hello.
Hello, Gabe from the North Coast. In Arcata, we do a monthly arts night, the second Friday, and that just happened this last weekend with Leprechaun Gold. We had some intern people paint and had them hiding in stores. People brought them back to win prizes. It was really fun getting people circulating out. It felt much more alive and awake this month doing it. The last 2 months have been kind of small, but that was great. Getting our big annual Oyster Festival going. That's a big event in Arcata. Arcata Main Street's put on for 32 years. This is a long way into it, definitely coming out of the last 2 super crazy modified events, like a virtual one and then a pretend last minute one. And this year it's smaller, not in its usual spot, but it's definitely not right here on the plaza, but it's trying to happen, and great that it's a little smaller scale, a little more manageable it seems like the biggest events. The hardest thing right now is rebuilding the pool of volunteers and the teams and the networks that put things together for lots of years and then they're not there.
Yeah.
So rebuilding all those little connections and networks has been fun. It's starting to come back. And then, working with some other organizations doing a May Day event on our plaza. And then Juneteenth is happening collaborating with another group to do that. And there's trying to get our concert series happening again. And little Sunday markets we played with last year, and we're trying to get those going for a few seasons during the year. Yeah, lots of little things and big things cooking.
Excellent. So good to see that things are moving forward. Even some things are smaller than maybe they were before, but you got it going. And I know we have heard from a lot of folks that, getting volunteers back active has been challenging. So maybe we can share some, best practices for supporting our programs through volunteerism and how you've been able to do what some of the folks have been successful. I think I see Norma's phone number there. Are you there, Norma?
Hello, everybody. Good morning. I think.
What's going on in Paso Robles?
Oh, Lord. Tons. In fact, hallelujah, we have no mass. and we can
Okay.
breathe again.
All
We
right.
have they took away our outdoor dining, which kind of bothered people. And we're having a problem with our parking meters now. Everybody's grumbling. So we got to fight through that. But we're planning all of our events again. We're going forward. We're going to have sidecars. If you've ever ridden in a sidecar, they're a blast. And we're going to have our Hop to It bunny rabbit. He gives out the Easter eggs. And we now have network coffees, and that's where we do a whole block at a time. And everybody on that block gets together and has food and entertainment and prizes, and everybody finds out what's going on in the downtown block by block. And what else are we doing? Oh, you got to come. Everybody's drinking wine, having a good time again. In fact, we just got a Kiki bar that just opened, and it's busy, busy, busy. And let's see, what else? Oh, I'm very honored. I don't think too many people have an alley named after him, but our local artist, who's a fabulous artist, created an arch over our alley, and it's called Norma's Way.
Oh,
Or Norma's Alley.
congratulations. Well, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
Norma is
fun.
one of our longest serving managers and executive directors for Main Street. How many years, Norma?
Oh my good God. I'm 88 years old, so probably 35 years, 34 years. Yeah. I love Main Street. It's a
All
great
right.
organization. Hang in there, you guys, because it does work.
All right. Well, thank you, Norma. We appreciate your support and all your work over the years. And so I saved Amanda for last because, of course, we are featuring Eureka in our upcoming California Main Street Conference next week at the end of next week. And there's a special box that you all can purchase. And Amanda, what do you want to say about that?
Well, I have been working on the conference a lot lately, and will be up until the last minute, I'm sure. And so we're really excited for the focus to be on Eureka because not a lot of people make it up here. We're a little remote, but we have a lot of good things going on. So besides the conference, we are preparing for a cruise ship to come in. We're still waiting for verification of it, but should be here on May 3rd. So we'll be doing a lot of area cleanup, and we're organizing excursions for it and all kinds of fun things like that. So we're working with that. We're also planning on going forward with our 4th of July festival, which is our largest festival in our downtown Old Town area. Probably trying to expand it a little bit, changing it up a little bit. It's been the same for a long time, so it's time for some change. And then we're also our Friday night markets. There's we have a partnership with another organization here that throws that every Friday, and that's going to start July 1st through September 30th. So we'll have 14 Friday night markets coming up. So that's a good thing for our businesses. We have all kinds of things going on.
Tell us about the box. We
also have some drama going on because the city is planning on developing on some of our larger parking lots. So we have a lot of angst about lack of parking, even though we also have a parking study currently going on that shows that there's not a shortage of parking, but contingent.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear the updates on that development project that's happening. I know a lot of there have been challenges in a lot of our districts around development and people feeling that the gentrification and getting pushed out and all of that. So we look to do some work around that. We have our research team that is looking, that actually is developing data for Main Streets, specifically around housing. So you will see some updates and information that will be shared with you about that, and some potential webinars, and we may also be looking for you for information for your districts to find out what's going on around housing in your district. So
that would be really helpful, because there's quite a bit of housing that they're planning on putting into these parking lots. And so it's definitely a hot issue here.
Yeah.
This parking lot that has recently stirred up so much controversy is actually going to be a transit center. So I'm kind of torn on it personally, because I think it's a really great idea, and I think it'll be great for the area, but my board is screaming the opposite. So it's
growing pains for sure. So tell us what's in the box, Amanda.
So the box is going to have a chocolate bar from Taylor Chocolates, a sticker from Just My Type Letterpress, and those two are included specifically because they're going to be speaking at a session about collaborating and entrepreneurship. So I really wanted to include those. We're also including some coffee from Humboldt Bay Coffee Company, which coincidentally, Taylor Chocolates is rehabbing an old building for their new factory, their new chocolate factory, and they're also going to be housing Humboldt Bay Coffee's new processing area also. So they're all going to be working together. And then what else is in there? Oh, a tree, a live redwood tree will be sent out so everybody can grow their own redwood tree. It works for a while at least. Hopefully you'll be able to plant it and keep it longer, but so that will be something fun. And what else? There'll be a tote bag, a Eureka tote bag, and probably a pint glass or a coffee mug.
Excellent. So everyone has the ability to purchase a box. They are $35, $40. What was that?
45.
$45. Okay, $45. So if you haven't already done so, you can go into the Eventbrite and purchase one of the Eureka boxes that has all of this really great stuff from Eureka that Amanda just talked about. I believe we will also raffle one off from California Main Street, or have a drawing for. I don't think you can have a raffle, all of that stuff, for a box, so that you can get one if you'd like. And other highlights for the conference, we just confirmed that Senator Padilla will be giving us an address, a recorded address from the senator. So happy to have him to speak to our group. Also, Patrice Fry from National Main Street, CEO and president. She will give remarks at the opening. And what are some of the other highlights that we have coming up, Alicia?
Yes, so we will be doing 2 full days of sessions with evergreen and timely content to support our members in our communities. Each day starting at 8:30, we'll have Main Street 101 sessions for that are really helpful for new folks, but also for lifers to kind of refresh your Main Street toolbox. And those are being the featured speakers are National Main Street Center professionals. We will also be having an opening keynote from the Eureka Mayor, Susan Seaman. And I'm really excited about the Arts and Economic Vitality session on Thursday as well, highlighting both Eureka and touching on Grass Valley's cultural corridor projects. Oceanside will be presenting about how you can leverage various marketing strategies to both craft and tell your stories about your farmers markets. Those tools can also be utilized to talk about your organization or your other events and programs. We'll be also having a really awesome happy hour hosted by Blake.
from Reading and featuring updates from Shoshana, and then a virtual version of Eureka's Old Town Haunted History Tour. So that'll be really interesting to kind of get to learn the spooky and seedy parts of Eureka's past. And that is when we'll be raffling or giving away one of the goodie boxes. So make sure to tune in for that so you can enter your name into the hat. And just, I mean, there's too many good things to really mention, but I will put a quick plug in. Make sure to keep your eyes on your inbox. On Thursday, we will be releasing the conference program, which contains the complete session descriptions, the featured speakers, their bios, their information, and you will be rip-roaring and ready to go for next week.
Excellent. And I just want to also highlight that there will be a health and wellness presentation from B. Arthur. She is excellent. I don't know if any of you got a chance to check her out at the National Main Street Conference, but she will be coming to us and giving us some great best practices to help us through all of the stress that we often have to deal with and all of the overworkedness, but if that's a word, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so that's going to be a really great session. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And then the last thing I will say is our stats for reinvestment. If you haven't already turned in your information, we need it. I just got an email just now from Steve. We need your numbers. So we need your numbers. So please do fill in that information and get it to us as soon as you can. And then I will then just open it up for anybody who has any questions, any challenges, something you want to share. Alicia did send out information about a couple of grant opportunities that are available. So hopefully all of you are receiving the emails and updates from us. Is everybody getting all the information? Yeah, there's some great opportunities there. So don't miss out. Anybody have anything that's going on they want to share?
Yeah, Donovan has his hand raised. Go ahead.
Donovan. Oh, go ahead, Donovan.
Thank you, everyone. So I know there's a nice kind of mix of different, organizations here. And I don't know how many are actually city entities like, my organization. I didn't include in my updates one really important initiative that we have underway. So we are going to be going out to bid soon, or RFP, for a business improvement district, consultation or consulting services. And we're trying to cast a wide net. We know that there's kind of trade-offs between doing a property-based improvement district versus a business one or one of the other types of assessment districts. And I was curious, if anyone here had like feedback, especially in relation to some of the upfront, work that's needed to, on outreach and communications and, even just kind of the implementation process in general. I would really welcome that. We're kind of going in optimistic, but also, pretty green to this kind of thing. So love any feedback you have.
Yes, well, there are several people on the call who have property-based business improvement districts and have been a part of that process. I was part of that process as a former ED. It is a lot of work, and certainly you do need a great organization to help you to manage the process and all of the outreach and documentation and reports and all of those things. And then of course you have to do an actual ballot and all of that as well. So we will be speaking about that at the conference. Civitas, that is one of the advisors groups that does these districts. They do the tourism as well as the property-based business improvement district. And I think a couple of folks here have worked with them. Okay. So I don't know if anyone else wants to speak a little bit about the business improvement district.
I'll just mention, Donovan, your question here is perfect timing for the conference. The session that Amanda mentioned, it's going to be a panel session, including lived experiences and kind of from the members of the community here that manage those different types of districts. So Eureka will be covering about how their business improvement district works. Oceanside will be talking about their PBID. And then Christine from Carlsbad will be talking about their aspirations and kind of what is driving them to do this exploration for the feasibility study for their own. And then Civitas is also going to be providing a kind of a broad overview of the different types of districts that can be implemented in California. And they also have a number of great resources on their website that we'll be including in the packet that kind of break down the different types and what the feasibility process kind of looks like.
Excellent. Anybody else had anything they wanted to add? And certainly, Donovan, you can reach out to anybody on this call, and we're happy to connect folks and talk directly to each other about it. Yeah.
I do have one thing in my initial exploration. I reached out to Hillcrest, Main Street, but I don't think they're part of California Main Street. They're a BID, so Business Improvement District, not a PBID, and they're now forming a MID, or they call it a MAD also, Maintenance Assessment District. So I said they're a MAD BID, but anyhow, they're a mid bid. And theirs, if they have, it looks like it's going to pass, and they will have it this summer, it'll start. So I thought that was a very interesting to have a bid from the businesses, a mid to handle maintenance. And then we're looking at the property base, like what Oceanside did. So yeah, it's a lot.
There are a lot of different, there are a lot of different types of districts. So you have to figure out what will work best for your community and your area.
Thank you. And is Livermore's downtown association, is that a regular bid or is that a P bid as well? I'm curious.
I'm not certain. Okay. Ruby, do you know? She might have walked away.
But it sounds like most of the organizations here, it's more common to have a P bid.
Yeah, it's you get more money and there's more, that you can do with the P bid.
Donovan, I just put in a link to Chico's management plan. They put together a P bid just a little while ago. And so what they submitted in their whole plan, we have found that when we give this to people to read, that it's really a nice look kind of under the hood at kind of what you need to do, the pieces that you need to put together. It's a lot of nuts and bolts type of stuff in this plan. And this is the most recent plan that we're familiar with. And we sort of picked it because we're in Northern California city, we're similar. So I've attached the link to that on our chat.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Hey, Donovan, I'll also share our PBID information. You can go through our website, and if you have any questions, just give us a call.
Okay, thank you.
And then Kara, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I just had a quick question for the community statistics, the reinvestment. I always seem to struggle trying to get the numbers for the dollar invested in public and private. Is there some sort of tip or trick that anyone can share on how to get this information or how you're gathering this information? I don't seem, a lot of property owners don't like to necessarily share these details with me. And then the city seems to make a huge ordeal and hassle over gathering the information and getting it to me as well on that end. So I always feel like I'm late in turning these in, but I'm always hung up on those two specific items.
Yeah, it can be challenging. It helps to kind of reach out ongoing with city folks to try to keep that relationship going with your economic development folks in the city, so that hopefully that information is shared. Some cities actually publish information on the development projects and things that are happening in certain districts throughout. So you can kind of find it online. Others, do you have any tips or tricks that you might share with Kara?
I can share the way I do it. I ask the businesses what their budget is and how much they paid for those improvements, and I use whatever that amount is, and then I kind of compare it to the others, and then I do the estimates based on that. There's never going to be accurate, but I mean, if you're looking at a restaurant itself, you're looking between $350,000 to $500,000, just the baseline. Depends how much more they have invested in the property, though. There's go up to $1 million that I've heard, or I've actually seen here in downtown Oceanside. But also your economic development department, they've been really helpful with me with public investments. So contact them and tell them it's for the good of your community, the good for California. This is a way to track, the benefits of why we exist here. So that's kind of what I do. And
in our city, we actually have not had economic development department for years, up until I believe just a couple months ago, and they're trying to get their act together and training them. So that's probably part of the reason I'm having such a struggle getting the information from the city, because it gets passed around to everybody and no one wants to help.
Another two is business license department. Contact your business license department. I'm going to give you a monthly business license report, and then you can see what businesses are there that will get you an itemized business license, and you can track it that way. That's one of my best tools I have, actually, when it comes down to tracking our business.
Yeah, for sure.
Kara, do you have a local newspaper?
No, we don't anymore, actually. We don't have a printed one. We do have an online one, but it's very scarce that you see anything printed or published from them. We lost that at the beginning of the pandemic as well.
Yeah. And I'll just say that, a lot of this is kind of estimates. We don't expect that there will be exact numbers, and nobody is going to go back and, knock on doors and make certain that everything is completely 100% accurate. But we do want a best guess estimate based on the businesses that are there and any economic development information that you have from your city.
Thank you.
One more quick follow-up. We've had, as many people I'm sure have, projects that have started in 1 year and they've not yet finished. How do we do that? So I'll give you a quick example. Nick's on State, huge restaurant rebuild. It's been going on for a long time. Still not open. Most of the building took place in 21.
Yeah.
How do we just?
Well, so, generally they say once the project is completed is when you're supposed to
Count it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we'll roll that over to next year's. Okay. Thanks.
One way that when I was in Richmond that we would track public investment is if there were any public works projects that were completed within the district. I would often reach out to either public works or engineering or the transportation department, kind of whoever it was that was the lead on those projects, and ask them for what the project cost was, and that was the number that I would include as the public investment number. So it's definitely cobbling together information and relying on those relationships and your observation district. And I know that's really challenging to manage all the time, but those are the couple of the tools and techniques that I would use for the public investment related things. And the other thing that I would often include that I'm not sure, I would encourage you guys to include if you're not including, is if you have city staff that is installing street banners, either, year round or seasonal, the city is basically sponsoring that kind of public investment or promotional mechanism for your district. And so I would just kind of give an estimate of the number of staff hours and kind of count that as a type of public investment as well.
Any other comments or questions around the stats? Or just anything generally that you want to share or have questions about? Go ahead, Shoshana.
That one, we're trying to work on a community ambassador program in our town with some COVID money right now as a pilot program, to have it be about half promotion of events and businesses, and then about half working on other issues that property owners and businesses are frustrated by, and trying to work out how to solve. But if there are just any other, it's starting out as a pilot program funded this way, but then they might be investigating that bid process, right, to try to have that be an established program later on someday. That might be someday in the horizon. So I'm taking down these links that people are leaving, but does anybody have an established community ambassador program that they've utilized like that? If they do, we're still, the neighborhood, I think we've looked at the Richmond program for sure. Yeah. They're designing it within the city, but then we're helping to give input and ideas too, or how they've been evaluated, I guess, because we're looking at some quantitative, but also some qualitative ways to look at it. And I was thinking about surveys over the next couple of years to be able to ask the same folks that have, will be seeing what's going on and noticing a change. But I'd love any feedback on that.
Well, Alicia ran our neighborhood program, ambassador program in Richmond, and did an excellent job. And we did collect a lot of data monthly. It was challenging to be accurate and keep it up to date. But yeah, I don't know, Alicia, if you want to share anything about that.
Yeah, it's, to me, Shoshana, the approach that you have of doing the baseline of serving the community of what are the needs the community is identifying is the perfect place to start. And then developing your measurement tools based on that and keeping it as consistent as possible over a certain period of time longitudinally, that's going to be really helpful. In terms of, so the way that the Richmond Main Street Neighborhood Ambassador Program is structured is we have two teams of ambassadors, a maintenance crew and a hospitality crew. And that came out of the community saying, we want cleaner streets and we want like an extra pair of eyes and ears on the district to help people with wayfinding. Richmond Main Street would utilize them to also promote events and programs that they were hosting and to build relationships with the merchants. And we would also hire them to provide hospitality services and welcoming services at the events as well. And so in terms of like the more quantitative reporting that they would do things like measuring the number of bags of trash that they collected every day, the number of hours that they worked, the number and the types and the number of issues that they would either directly address and or that they would relay to the city of Richmond if there were, issues that were larger that they weren't able to handle themselves. And they would also do seasonal work. So the springtime, it's weed whacking throughout the district. In the fall, it's picking up leaves, so we would kind of cycle them through these different phases of focusing on different areas that needed a little bit of extra TLC. But I'd be happy to talk with you more in depth about, any questions that you have and kind of how we managed it. Definitely one last thing I will add is looking into a mobile and digital tool to do all that reporting and tracking is going to be really, really helpful. And anything that has geotagging capabilities and abilities for people to take pictures and attach pictures to their reports. And then for the staff, both boots on the ground staff, but then also office staff to be able to access those dashboards and pull those reports really easily is going to be a lifesaver for you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Christine, did you have a question or comment?
I did. So I'm a little confused. So this is not a volunteer ambassador program. This is are these people paid, or I'm hearing some overlap of like the PBID, if you're doing pressure washing or you're doing flower basket hanging, it's part of the PBID.
We don't have
paid.
They don't have a PBID.
We don't have.
We did. Our folks were paid through the PBID
Okay, but,
funds.
okay, got it.
Yeah, ours would be paid. There'd be probably one more full-time coordinator person that would also do it, and then a couple of part-time people.
Okay, and then when you talk about attaching, so our city has a very, a fantastic app. I call it the Tattletale app, but it's great. I mean, if you see graffiti or you see horrible trash, you can take a photo, tag it, immediately get it to the city. It goes to the right, you know, water, transportation, public works. Would that be, so again, creating like a neighborhood ambassador program within the PBID and utilizing that tool as a, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, but they have some specific tools that are for the type of tracking I think that Alicia was speaking about as well.
Okay.
Yeah, the Richmond program, they do two different types of reporting essentially. They have one tool that the ambassadors use to track their work. You know, the number of bags they collect, the specific issues that they've identified and the ones that they've resolved, the merchant engagement that they do. And then when there's the issues that they identify that are too large for them to handle, either they don't have the permission to, maybe it's graffiti on private property, or it's an overflowing trash can and they just don't have the capacity to, you know, empty the trash can because they don't have the keys to the can, then they would double report that issue to the city's app as well. So it's a bit of a double report in the Richmond situation. It would be fantastic if there could be like a shared option, but that was the option that we found was the best for Richmond to be able to utilize.
Okay. If you and Shoshana jump on a call about this in the future, if you would, I'd love to tag in on that just to hear more about this.
Yeah, sure.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, so we have another thing, ambassador program, PBIDs. Okay, Gamal, you had something to share.
Yeah, so I run a downtown ambassador program. It's volunteer driven. The only paid employee that we have is our coordinator, which was me for the first 3 years. And now we're like on our 6th or 7th year to this program now. It's only run in the summer. And we do have forms that we track the information that the public's talking about our downtown district. And what that does, we share that information to our city officials and staff, and then we have implemented programs based on that information. One of them was our PBID. You know, they wanted a clean and safe downtown, so that kind of directed us to do this, what we did a couple of years ago. But this, I'm willing to share that information, what we did. We had a great, through the Economic Development Committee, actually, we developed a branding, and we had a lot of the funding that came from our partners with our tourism group. So if you have a tourism organization, they are our sponsor on this and are also the Economic Development Department. They each put in about $3,000 into this program. So it kind of helps subsidize some of the costs that we incur with staffing, but it's only summer season. Now that we implemented the PBID, we're actually looking doing a more permanent mobile-based kiosk to have more of a year-round ambassador. And that's also going to be driven by volunteers. We had about 30 volunteers during the summer season, and there's only four to 6 hours daily that they will be out there based on the demand of the traffic. But it was quite a successful program for us, and it really does give us an insight of what's going on in our downtown district. It also cleans vagrancy around the area, so you want to put it in the most high traffic areas. So it really has helped us, and actually our partners, the hotels next to the pier, has really supported this, and that they help us store the equipment, they help us put it in. So we create this relationship outside of our organization to help us carry some of that workload, because it is time consuming if you do a mobile, like a kiosk kind of, or like a tent. But they were willing to help us out with their bellman staff. So there's different ways how you can do that. I'll be happy to jump on a call with you to see what kind of resources you have and how that can be effective in your district.
Excellent. Well, we are coming up on the hour. Is there any last minute sharing or questions that anyone has that they want to weigh in on? All right. Well, hearing none, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Look forward to seeing you all next week at the conference. If you have any questions or anything that we didn't cover, wanted to hear about, please do reach out to myself or Alicia. And again, please turn in your reports today, if at all possible, so we can get all of our California information in. And again, thank you so much for joining us. All right, see ya.